Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm having a guest, and it's Christa Campsell from Canada. And Christa is the author for My Guide Inside. Yeah, I just introduce you like this, Christa, and you have to tell us more about that and how you came across this understanding. So welcome, Christa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So nice to speak with you. I know we've been following each other online, so it's really a treat to speak with you. Thank you. So yes, I authored some books called My Guide Inside, but the story really begins way back when. We've counted up the years, 48 years ago. Oh my goodness. Oh. I was a university student in an education program here in Vancouver, Canada. And I was not really satisfied with how it was going. And so I had just actually taken a year off to decide, would I become a teacher or not? Because at the time, children who struggled, I was working with more like teenagers, when they struggled, no one really knew what to do or how to help them. And you know, we had to take a course, educational psychology was mandatory, and they gave us technique after technique, which was just impossible, and it didn't have the outcome that you wanted anyway. And so I really thought, wow, there doesn't seem to be any answers, and maybe it's me, maybe it's my shortcoming that I can't reach the students with challenges. So I took a year off, and then when I was heading back, my friend then, he's now my husband, but he came to visit me in Vancouver. And he had just been to Sydney Bank's public talk on Salt Spring Island. It was either the first public talk or one of the first public talks. And he was so impacted by what he heard that he came to share with me that he'd heard the secret to life. I'm like, oh, well, come on in. So what he shared with me was that happiness comes from within, and that had a beautiful feeling around it, and there was no resistance. I'm like, yes, that feels really true. And then he said, thought creates reality. And with that statement, I really argued and struggled, because I'm like, well, no, it's the circumstance creates my reality. And so anyway, we philosophized about it, and I really, my intellect was like, whoa, wait a minute, that's not true. But for whatever reason, you know, when I look back, I think it's just the beautiful feeling that Bob brought and that he picked up on and had within himself. It was the beautiful feeling really captivated me, because I did want to be, I was optimistic and did want to be happy. So I started to just kind of experiment. You know, is it the feeling? Is it my young age? What doesn't matter why, but I began to experiment and see for myself that, yes, indeed, what I was thinking in the moment was impacting my reality in the moment. And it was like an explosion, a quiet explosion in my head. It really opened the door for beautiful new feelings. And when I look back, I realized that what also happened was I was able to just kind of let go, ignore whatever the negative thoughts, extra thoughts, analytical thoughts were just kind of gone. Like you were saying, it just kind of disappears. And of course, the interesting thing to me is when you don't have those thoughts, then it doesn't turn into that bad habit and you're free of some bad habits. And the mind is clear and calm. And it just was a beautiful feeling. And going into my practicum now with teaching students, teenagers, I was calm and clear-minded, and I was present. And we all know what happens when you're calm and clear and present. You're able to connect because you're able to see the other person, and you're able to just naturally, of course you have your skills, but you naturally know what to do and say. So this was just just exploded my old world and left me with this beautiful feeling. But also at the same time, it was a great mystery. It wasn't like, oh, now I know it all. It was more like, now I'm on this journey and we have these beautiful feelings and this mystery can unfold. Some months later, I did go to a Sydney Banks talk myself. And again, the feeling was just like, there was no denying for me that this is really something that deserves my attention. And coming away from that weekend, as I was telling you before we started the recording, I was like a new person. And I had this deep feeling for wisdom. The deep feeling of wisdom can really guide our day-to-day life.
And did it come like this? Did it come like this to you so quickly?
Like I said, at first I argued with Bob.
Yeah,
that's not true. But when I really started, I just naturally started experimenting, and it really felt like I said, like my old world exploded.
Yeah,
and
for a lot of people have problems with that too. That they don't see it. They can't. They're struggling with that.
Yep. So you can't. I never know why. You never know why, and you never know who will hear something and what they will hear. You never know. You just do as a teacher, I never know which student is going to really take this and use it for themselves deeply. You never know. So you just, and I'll say to you that Sydney Banks never judged any of us. You know, he spoke with people who were really, obviously they were lost and they were looking for something. So maybe they were on the fringe of society. I wasn't. I was a university student and, you know, all of that, but I was still searching for happiness. But he never judged that, oh, you look like you're not going to get it and you will get it. He treated us all, you know, knowing. That's the thing, I think, is once you find it for yourself, you know, everyone has this capacity. It's not that I'm special, it's that I'm human. And knowing that it's in each of us gives me that wonderful feeling when I'm teaching students, is that I know you deserve human dignity. I know you deserve to experience it. And with this knowledge, we realize, oh, and actually I can educate you. I can draw it out. I can draw it out so that you experience what is your birthright. Yeah. But yeah, we never know who's going to hear or what. So yeah, you have a beautiful feeling, but then you still have to live. You're making me think of something. I was so happy. It really changed my world. And then it was like, I don't know, just maybe a month before I went to hear Sid, I woke up one morning and I was in a not a good mood, and I scared myself so bad. I thought, oh, did I lose that beautiful feeling? Is it gone forever? It was just a low mood.
Yeah.
But it's a mystery. You just have to live your own life.
And when I went to the school in Sweden, many people in that school, they said, like you said now, that oh, everything is going away. I thought I knew about this. I should know better. why doesn't feel like it when the mood has gone down? So it's really like that. It's
Yes,
how your state of mind is right now.
yes. And you know what, when you said that, it made me think of what Sid would often say. It's on one of his recordings. He says, you're still going to go up and down, but you learn to go up and down.
Yeah.
You learn to go up and down. So when I have an insecure thought, it's not like they forevermore you're never going to have an insecure thought. I'm doing things I've never done before since leaving the public school, you know, writing the books and so on and so on. And it's just, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to get dragged down, or you just see it for what it is and let it pass? I loved what he said. Learn to go up and down. Isn't that beautiful? So simple.
Yeah, because then you don't need to be up all the time. You just know that it's life goes like this, and you just
Life
have
goes like that.
to follow it.
I see many pictures of the ocean when you your pictures online, and mine too. I live near the ocean, and it's the ebb and flow, and flow.
It's different
You know,
every day. When I walk
yes,
there, it's different every day. And
yes,
and I told before in those recordings, I didn't see the nature like I do now. It has opened up for more seeing, and when I go there, I just, wow. I want to
yes,
take
me too.
pictures. There's
Yes,
pictures all over my Facebook, but that's
yes,
because I can see it now. I'm not always up in my head like before. And I just found the beauty in it.
yes. And that's the thing, is the beauty in the moment, to have that calm mind, like you say, not up in your head, so you can just really be in nature and enjoy the beauty that is around us wherever we live on this beautiful planet. It's a wonderful thing. And I encourage teenagers, one of the little experiments in the teenage book of My Guidance Side, it's like, go out into nature and see what happens. Just let your mind be clear and just see what happens. Just see how beneficial that is. You know, you were saying something earlier when you invited me about the adults influence on the kids. And I'll speak now as a mother and a grandmother, that raising the children, we were so fortunate to come across this understanding before we started our family. And raising the two boys, we knew that they had the capacity to have a happy life. And of course, you guide them, you show them how to get over a disappointment, how to get over any other negative emotions. But again, like us, they had to learn to go up and down. But for me as a teacher, I could see that you love them as they are. You know they have the capacity to be successful, and you just support them. If I start putting expectations on them, that's my desired outcome. It puts on the pressure, and then the intellect can't do its job, because emotionally you feel that. You feel if somebody is expecting something, and you feel like, I'm falling short. What the heck's the point? I always fall short of your expectations. So if you have no expectations, you love them unconditionally, everything works beautifully. Not to say they don't have challenges, they do, but they're able to face them. They're able to call for support when they need it. Their intellect is free to do its job. I have an example. Our sons were fortunate. They did higher education here, and the one son was, he's a specialist doctor here in Canada, and we live on a beautiful island, and he used to bring some of his friends to come, and they'd have a study weekend, they'd call it. More fun than anything. But his friends would pull me aside and, what's with Paul? We're just so mad at him because we're studying from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day, and that's all we do. And Paul is like one of the top in the class, and he does his work, and at 4 o'clock he's off doing sailing lessons or learning how to dance salsa and just having fun. What's with that? Yeah. And the thing is, we each find our groove, right? And Paul found his groove was get up early with a calm, clear mind, read the material, read it for understanding, and you're good. You don't have to keep, isn't that a beautiful kind of lesson for all of us?
Yeah.
You just do it with a calm mind and you own it. And when you understand it, you never forget it. And the thing is about learning that when he was off doing his recreation, whatever he was doing, sailing or hiking or dancing, the intellect is still working away. And it does the sifting and sorting, and it makes all those connections so that whatever you learned in the day, it starts to become part of your body of knowledge that you know. But so for kids that I was teaching in high school, I was special education teacher. You know, anxiety around the world, people are concerned about anxiety. And teaching the 3 principles and about the power of thought and the availability of wisdom, it takes care of that anxiety and, you know, even the serious panic attacks. So that the very smart young people, but what was happening, they were so anxious, they kind of were like, how can I cheat to stay at the top? No time for friends, I just got to do, you know, and learn about the 3 principles and understand, oh, it's healthy to have some time in nature, some time with my friends, to when I'm studying, to, you know, do it with a clear mind. And then the anxiety falls away. The marks are way high, but they also have a lovely life, of a whole life.
Oh, it's so different. It's a difference for people to feel, for the kids to feel so much better, and a change for the school, not
yes.
putting all the kids in those boxes.
Yes.
And I have difficult times to go to school because I have memories from my childhood when I felt like I didn't handle it. And I know everyone was doing the best. My mom was doing her best, and my teacher was doing their best, and everyone. But I got those thoughts about me, that I couldn't do this, and it had to be in a certain way all the time.
Yes.
And if I couldn't sit like that in a chair and listen like this, okay, then she it's nothing for her. She's not a schoolgirl. She can't this. And I had bad feelings about myself. So this is so different to see that. Yes. That I had this all the time, but they didn't know, and I didn't know.
Yeah. Yes, I again, working in special education at the high school, I would meet, well, you get more time with the families in special education because you make an individual plan. And it's not uncommon what you were saying, parents coming in and going, oh, I don't even want to be here because of my bad memories, you know. And so you work with the parents as well, and help them see that the child has the capacity to be successful. And what you're saying about it affects the whole school. That is so true. Think of another example of a young woman who had what we call developmental disability, which means some defect from birth. And so that cognitive was lower than average, and very aggressive, and really couldn't even handle a full school day. And we taught her about the aggression. Actually, it starts with a thought, and she's like, no. Like me, she argued, no, it's just automatic. But one day, sure enough, she's in math class, she's ready to wail on somebody and hit them. And she's like, it is a thought. And she put her arm down, and then that's her learning. Like, we can never say as teachers, when is the penny going to drop with their understanding? Everyone is responsible for their own journey. But now imagine the culture change when she sees, oh, it's a thought. It's not a good one. Let it pass by. I don't get in trouble. They don't kick me out. Oh, people actually want to be with me when I'm not threatening to hit them. The whole culture changes when one person in the culture finds the peace and the contentment and the happiness. And then, of course, guess what? The intellectual ability is able to reach its potential as well. Now, that young woman still was deserving of a disability pension. But what's the difference from being aggressive and hitting everybody and couldn't keep any kind of little job to now she's happy and, doing her best? So it's for what I found with my experience of teaching 40 years, this is for everybody. And like you say, it's through the feeling.
But you have to tell us about your books and how you call it curriculum. No,
Curriculum, yes.
Curriculum, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
You educate in school.
So what happened, Cecilia, is when I retired from my big job at the high school, then I was kind of looking around the Three Principles community, and I saw my colleague, I knew her a little bit from conferences, Kathy Marshall Emerson, was looking for, she had a call out on her website for global curriculum was needed. The teachers she was working with in the United States were getting a Three Principles training from her, but they're always like, well, where are the books for the kids? And so when I saw this, I thought, oh, I think I'd like to do that, because I'd already written curriculum twice before. And so we started on this project. So she was like, it has to be kindergarten to grade 12. And I'm like, it has to be stories. And we're both like, it has to be, really colorful and appealing. So I went to work, and we have, for the little kids, Dr. Pettit likes this one. He says everything you need is in the first 4 chapters, meant for 6-year-olds. So for young children, and this is for like kids like preteens, 9 to 12. And then this one is for teenagers, grades, ages 14 to 19, something like that. So we made the books, and we make them very, you don't need any training. You just buy the book, and there's a teacher's manual for each one, has a teacher's manual. And we're very, very pleased. Obviously I taught all the books myself as a pilot. Kathy had people in the United States doing it as a pilot. And now we're working with a company in India to make them all online, like a course online. And different, I met wonderful new people, and they've done translations. It's really a wonderful project, and we're finding the stories. Humans love stories, and you can remember a story, and within the story we put the truth. It's very natural for the children to begin to see, oh, I do have happiness inside me. And so if there's a trouble at home or their life is, up in the air, they can still feel, instead of fighting at school, they can be calm and happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those books, they aren't in Swedish or Danish. They are not translating.
There is someone in Denmark.
It is okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Sweden, and I think some of us in Sweden can read Danish.
Yes, he's a young man. He's just we're just getting started.
Aha, okay.
Yeah. And he will publish them. Yeah. We have lots of languages, and I'm very happy that this young man contacted me, and he wants to do the translations to Danish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. And sometimes, Cecilia, sometimes I was a math teacher, and it was not exactly my job to teach well-being or mental health, but does it fit with the math class? Absolutely. Where's the problem in the math class? I'm afraid of math, right?
Yeah.
So your emotions and your thoughts are in the way of actually learning.
Yeah.
So it's really for any time in school.
Yeah, like I said before, I wanted to have you when I was little, because
Yeah.
this knowing is so important
Yes.
to share. It
Yes.
really is, because it starts so much when you are little. When you are little and you got those thoughts in your head and you don't see anything new. I came across this when I was 48. So
Right.
I have been going through a lot of years in my life and school years, and didn't know that I had more possibilities.
Absolutely. I have a colleague in Kenya, a wonderful teacher. He is, and I had the opportunity to teach his daughter and her friends using this book. We met on Zoom every week, and he learned from his daughter.
Yeah.
And he was so touched by what his daughter was realizing through these stories that he began to grow and change as well. Isn't that beautiful? When we're open, we see the truth and recognize it. Sometimes the children help us, sometimes we help the children, but it's just a wonderful way to live, knowing that the truth can come at us from anywhere. Yeah. And now, you're much younger than me, but the school is evolving such that there is more room, so we don't all have to be in rows and be the same. We now understand that each person is unique and also has different hopes and dreams, and how to help the children feel welcome, so that their intellects and their personality and their knowing is honored. So I think education slowly, I work with some people in some countries, they still are using punishment. If you don't know the math, you get punished. But the world, it's always an evolution. That'll never stop. But I think we can feel good that our grandchildren are experiencing a much gentler school experience than we did. Like my husband, for example, would have loved to have been a doctor, but he wasn't one he wasn't a good student, because when he was a student, you had to be one way or you're out.
Yeah.
And nobody knew how to take care of the emotions, so you could actually use the intellect. And then our son also wanted to be a doctor, but he was more lucky. He knew, he had a bit of understanding about how the world works, and so could be successful.
Yeah. So when we stop the old thing, the old way, and change direction, it opens up for so much more. It's really
Absolutely.
what I have seen this last 3 years.
Yes.
For myself, but things grows all the time, every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's that's the only thing that stays the same, is that we can grow and change.
Yeah.
And to see our children and students in a new way every day, so we don't have expectations or resentment. People feel that. The children feel that. They feel if they're being loved. They feel if you're really giving your attention to them, or they feel if they're being judged. So if you just be present with them, and then they feel, oh, I'm worth something.
Yeah.
Someone is giving me the time and sharing with me and really listening to me. I'm worth something. Not that I'm better than somebody else, but I'm like my little granddaughter. She goes to school, and her mom says, oh, she was helping her friend at school, showing her friend that, oh, you have a sad thought. It doesn't have to ruin your day. You can let it go and have a good day. Isn't that lovely? Something so simple that children teach each other. I would have loved to know that when I was my granddaughter's age, 8 years old, because I would get grouchy and I would be in a, you hang on to it for however many days, and then you let it go. Now the children are understanding. Again, like we were saying at the beginning, what Sid said, you learn to go up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, simple thing.
So if you're talking to teens.
Yes.
Did I say right? Yeah.
Pardon me? Say again.
The teens.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you want to speak to them in this understanding? What do you want to say to them if they are struggling now in school and not feeling that they are good enough?
That each one of us has happiness. It comes from within. And I call it my guide inside, but what that really means is wisdom. And we look around the world, you hear it all over. Einstein, for example, he says, I'm not talking about emotions. I'm talking about deep feelings. Intuition, which is wisdom, is deep feelings. And as we let our mind settle, that's what's there for us, is our happiness and our deep feelings of wisdom and intuition. There's nothing you have to do. There's nothing you have to say. You just know that inside of you is all the wisdom that you could ever possibly want, and all the happiness. Look inside. That's where you find the answer.
Yeah. And that's really good to know, and that you can trust that you have this inside. You need to trust it.
Absolutely. That's what the young people tell me, is that they learn to trust themselves. One young woman, she was actually on exchange in your country, and she writes me a year later. She says, everyone is looking outside when the answers are inside themselves. And people don't understand how much power they actually have. And here in British Columbia, we actually, happiness is your responsibility. It's even in the mental health paragraph of the curriculum. we have to understand that's, oh, my colleague in Kenya, who I'm so fond of, he says, don't put the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket.
No. Don't do that.
Don't do. So we're responsible. We're responsible for our own life.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. That's a really beautiful thing. Someone will get that.
And in Sweden, they say if you not fit in the school or in the system, you have diagnosis. You have ADHD, bipolar, all kinds of diagnosis, and everyone is going around with this kind of diagnosis. I had it for myself, but I can see now that it wasn't true. So I don't identify myself with anything of that anymore. So I'm free from all that kinds of thoughts around me, even if the doctor has written it in my paper.
The thing about that is that, like, I had to read, any of my students always had to have that from the doctor, that they have a diagnosis, or else they don't go into special education. But when you look at those reports from the three principles viewpoint, it says very clearly, this is a snapshot. This is not forever. It's just what's happening right now. And they say very clearly, do not use this report after 3 years. It will be totally, you know, so the message is there that, yes, okay, now they come in with ADHD diagnosis. But the psychologist has to say, it's just a picture of now. It's not who you are forever. Also in those psychology reports, if you look from a three principles point of view, it always has, here's the strengths. They always have the strengths there. You can build a whole plan based on the strengths. You can have those criteria for ADHD, you can have them dissolve. So it's really,
but they don't. They have it forever.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's not what it's meant to be. But
No.
yes, of course, if we could, in really, psychology needs to help us, because education looks to psychology, right? That's where we get special education, is all through psychology and psychiatry. So the more that this psychology, the Dr. Pettit and others are promoting, becomes accepted, we will be teaching these principles, and it leads to stable mental health. But one by one, we can help. Whether they get rid of the diagnosis or not is not my issue. My issue is teaching you what you have available to yourself, no matter what your intellect level, no matter any circumstances. We can teach you about what you have to draw on. Sometimes the diagnosis disappears. Sometimes, like the young woman I was saying, it was something from birth. She'll have that diagnosis all her life, but that's not my issue. My issue is, how can I help you to be happy and successful?
Yeah, but for me, it's just fall away. When I had this experience and I saw that it was made up by my thoughts, it was a history, my dark feelings about that I wasn't good enough and all this, it just fall away. All the diagnosis and everything, all the addictions,
absolutely,
all the addictions I had, it just fall away.
Yes,
it wasn't. I saw behind that,
and that can happen for the teenagers as well. And
Yeah.
people, we like expect it for the teenagers because they're developing their philosophy. You expect them to learn and change. That's what they do. Children and teenagers learn and change. So what happened to you absolutely can be a very normal thing for teenagers. That they had the dark period, they learned something about the principles, the way we work, and then they are better. And again, we're back to they can learn to go up and down.
Yeah, but also in
Yeah.
Sweden, I have seen very young. I have a grandchild, and when she's 3 years old now, but when she was 1 year old, she couldn't walk, and then they were talking about, oh, we have to see if it's something is wrong, and she's not walking, and we have to look more at this, and like something was wrong, and but that's different. It mustn't be wrong because it's different. Some people walk when they are 9 months, and some are 14 months. It doesn't matter.
No,
but it does nowadays, and it gets the parents very sad because they think it's something wrong with the children.
Now, my son is a specialist doctor. My daughter-in-law, infectious disease doctor. Other daughter-in-law is public health nurse. And my son is in medical apps. So we're all in medicine.
We're all taking care.
All of
family.
us. So now, supposing you have a doctor with some understanding. A parent comes in concerned about the walking or the talking. We understand the range of normal is very big.
Yeah.
It's very big. Just because you're at one end of, or the other end of, if you're fast or you're slow, you're still in the range of normal. And then the parents can do what they need to do. Maybe there's some practical things, you know, to help, whatever. But any person has the understanding in that circle of care, it helps the child. Because if someone has the knowing that this is fine, this is good, this is normal, let's enjoy our life and help the child as we can. And is that a wonderful thing? It doesn't matter who in the circle has the understanding. Like you are the grandma and you had the understanding. You're going to help the parents to feel it's good. Let's help her enjoy her life.
When I heard this, I just stop. And after a week, she went there to that visit. She was running and kicking a ball in all things together. She was walking and running and kicking a ball. Everything.
Isn't like that beautiful? This. So grandma, you were the one in this case to have to share the wisdom. It's good, it's okay. Let's not worry.
Yeah, and I feel like we need to have more of this no worry, to see that the children are different, and if we just let them do things when they are ready for it.
Absolutely. A friend called me, her daughter-in-law was concerned because the little boy wasn't speaking right at the exact age when it's average.
Yeah.
And I gave her the example of our son, who was very quiet, very, very quiet. And then when he started talking in sentences. It's like everybody has, and our other little boy, our first little boy, he would try words and he'd practice them, and he would just, he started talking very young. And now they're both adults and they can both speak. Everybody finds their own way. So for the adults to feel it's good, it's fine, let's enjoy. Because if we start to worry, the child feels that. And they look to us and they trust us. And if we're worried, then they become worried. So we have to be be strong in knowing the beauty of being a human being. Yeah.
And I
enjoy.
can sit here and say that I didn't worry when my children was little, but I come to a kind of wisdom, like you said. I'm a grandmother now, and I also gone through life and see more and more. I can feel connected to my wisdom more and more now,
Yes.
and that's how I see that I can trust and rest that it
Yes.
handle itself. I don't
Yes.
need to go in and change everything and meet doctors for everything and
And how beautiful is that for your children, the parents of this grandchild, to know and trust what you said and see the result. So next time something comes up, they can have more trust and knowing.
Yeah, I hope they're taking it in that way enough that I don't care, because I do care. But
Oh yeah.
I have changed
Yes.
that I don't like to worry like I did before.
Yes.
I like to take it more with calm. So
Yes.
it's not that I don't care,
Right.
but
they know that for sure.
But it can looks like that. Maybe, I don't know if it does, but if it does, I say it's not like that. It's just that I want.
Yes, and that's out of our control.
Yeah, it's their
thinks
thoughts.
It's and they can change their mind. So
Yeah,
that's very liberating for me. I have no control over what others think.
No,
I can only do my best.
Yeah.
And that's liberating. I'm a big responsible for your own self.
Yeah.
Is a big enough job.
But it's like before it was more drama in my life. I was always asking other people, how can I do with that? Is that normal?
Yes.
And I don't like to do that anymore. I don't need to have all these kinds of experts everywhere. I want to take control over me, and that's how I saw it for 3 years ago when it started to come. I need to take control over me.
Beautiful.
And my thoughts and my feelings, because I'm the only one that can do that. And when I trust that I have my guide inside,
yes,
like your book says, it's really like that. You are guided, and when you trust that, you can also trust your kids that they also are guided, and they need to have space.
Yes, absolutely. It's a beautiful thing, and it's kind of like, I was 21. I was so grateful to come across the principles. You were like 48. You said you're so grateful, and now look, the younger generation, our grandchildren, can come into this world with someone who understands. And it's a beautiful thing to help a child feel worthy, and feel confident. And go ahead.
Sorry.
To feel they deserve love. They deserve to be happy. They deserve to be smart. Yeah.
And I was supposed to say that I can only start from here.
Yes.
I can only start from here. So what I didn't do with my kids or before, I can't do anything about that. I can just start from here and doing my best from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all wish we could, if we really want to focus on it, every human would say, oh, I wish I would have done that differently, but that's just thought. Better
Yeah.
to focus on, like you say, better to focus on here and now, and what can we do
No,
today?
no. You only get sad if you it's like terror to
Yes, yes,
to speak about what you didn't do, because
right.
you
That
did
could
what
be
you
a
did,
very
what you
sad
saw.
phone call.
Yeah, but it's really what you see,
Yes,
your state of mind. It's really
yes,
what you see in your state of mind, and that's how you take your choices. You do your
absolutely.
choices with things, and I think that I want to trust life more nowadays.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Me too. It's totally a journey, and there's a mystery, and there's a trust, there's a love. Also, another big word the teenagers say after they go through the My Guidance Side books is that they used to just not even listen to somebody if they didn't agree with them or whatever. But now they were able to look at people with compassion. Because when your mind's not all busy about yourself, you start to see somebody else.
Yeah.
Isn't that a beautiful thing? And as these young people started to, their mind is calm and they could see other people, they were able to help them easily and just maybe even just share a friendly moment with someone. It's a big difference when you're all caught up either with my own thinking about myself or judging, and then all of a sudden you're not. The whole world, like you say, you all of a sudden I'm seeing the beauty in nature. All of a sudden I'm seeing one of my classmates could use a friendly word, whatever it is. Absolutely. It's like 20 when I was 21, all I had was here and now, and now I'm almost 70 and all I have is here and now. that part that part has stayed the same.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But what a wonderful gift to come across this understanding, and
Absolutely.
and try our best to share it, so people can feel it for themselves, that is it's another way, another way to live life.
Absolutely. And like you say, people feel it. It's not about any special words. Of course, when we're teaching, we have the words and we write the words down, but when we're just talking with people, if they get the feeling is so powerful. And as we share the feeling, we're sharing it with ourselves too, so we grow. It's
Yeah,
a beautiful bonus is when you
yeah,
want to share and help someone else, you're really sharing with yourself and leaving room for some newness again.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful to speak with you, Christa.
Oh,
And
you
and
too,
and, and
Cecilia.
it's beautiful that we can share this also to Swedish people. So
Yes,
it's not that big here yet, but more and more people know about it, and I try my best to speak global to all kinds of people sharing
yes.
in
It's beautiful what you do.
their way. But yeah, is it something more you want to share, Christa?
Just in closing, it's just so beautiful that we have these simple principles that mean something no matter where we live in the world.
Yeah,
I'm just really touched lately. I speak with people all over the world, and I'm really touched how the same message is good for all of us. And then we live our lives in different ways and have different lifestyles and languages, but at the heart of it, it's so simple.
Yeah. I always use the word simplicity because I really, really love the simplicity. After all the therapies and I found it difficult. This was simplicity, to just fall back and stay still and just let it come to you.
Yes.
And make it simple. Live life simple.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's the essence of it for sure.
Yeah. Okay, Christa, where can people find you? You can just tell.
Yes.
Where you.
myguidanceside.com.
Yeah.
There's a contact page there.
Yeah.
We're just working on a new website, but the old one is still there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
It's been such a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Christa. It was a beautiful speak.
Yes, thank you. Have a wonderful evening, I guess, now.
Yeah, I wish you the same. I wish you the same.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.